Titanic Toons. Chapter 22. Abandoned Ship. The night was looming over the sinking Titanic. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica were in fear for their lives. The Titanic was beginning to rip and split apart. Meanwhile, the captain was still behind the wheel of the Titanic. When the Admiral came in, everyone was on the lifeboats and were successfully evaluated. Captain, the Admiral replied. That's good. You go on ahead and get all the guards off this ship, the captain ordered sternly. But Captain, what about you? The Admiral questioned. You know the captain never abandons his ship, the captain replied. I understand. It was a pleasure working for you, Captain, the Admiral replied. The captain nodded his head in kindness. The Admiral quickly ran off to get all the guards. The captain took off his sailor hat and placed it on his chest as he stared at the ocean. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica were shaking in fear. We gotta get off this ship, Daffy shouted panically. Come on, let's get on a lifeboat, Bugs shouted. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica quickly ran to see if there were any lifeboats remaining. But they were all taken. Oh no! All the lifeboats are gone, Jessica replied worriedly. What the hell are we going to do? Daffy shouted panically. I don't know, Bugs shouted in fear. Suddenly the Titanic started to tip over. The Titanic began to split in half. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica were beginning to lean. Quickly grab onto a pole, Bugs shouted panically. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica quickly grabbed onto a pole. The Titanic was tipped completely over 360 degrees. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica were now hanging onto a pole. Please. Hang on, Bugs shouted. I don't know how long I can hang on, Daffy shouted. The Titanic was starting to crack and break apart. Bugs noticed it. Listen. We have to let go and fall into the water, Bugs shouted panically. Are you out of your mind? The ocean is literally ice cold. We will freeze to death, Daffy shouted. We have no choice. If we hang on any longer, the Titanic will break apart, and we will be crushed, Bugs shouted. He's got a point, Jessica replied softly. Daffy thought about it. All right. Let's do it. I'm going to die anyway, Daffy replied sarcastically. Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let go, Bugs shouted. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica let go of the pole. They fell over 100 feet while they were screaming. Bugs, Daffy, Jessica landed in the water. The Titanic then broke and fell apart into pieces and sank. Meanwhile, the Admiral was on the lifeboat along with the guards, looking at the now destroyed Titanic. She was the most beautiful ship ever built, the Admiral replied while crying. The Admiral and the guards saluted to the fallen captain.